Women will submit to a provider, women will submit to a protector, but that's only 36% of men. So you don't speak for the
That's
majority. You're
not
speaking
thinking.
for that 36.
You're
But that other
completely.
like 70 something percent of men, how you're going to tell me where we're going to move to? If that woman just said she has a 10-year plan, she's almost at the end of it. She has all the dreams and goals figured out. And 9 times out of 10, the man that she's with is asking her to go 50-50. You can't tell us where to move to. Because if I don't make as much money as I do here, we're not going anywhere because 50% of our bills depend on me.
I can hear the demons call when they do what they do. And now I feel like taking off, find a place with a view. The pain is never gonna stop if it's controlling you. I know that time can heal it all, I just gotta get through. I just gotta get through, I just gotta get through.
All right, people, welcome in. I am your host, Say One's History, and you are tuned in to The Male's Perspective, where in a world full of content, it's all about how you see it. And on this channel, we're going to take a closer look to see what's really going on from a different perspective, but I mean, from the male's perspective. So with that being said, I'm glad you're here. Let's get into it. Let's go. All right, you guys, we're back up in this piece. I appreciate you guys for being patient with me. This is your boy, Say One's History. Like I always say, man, you're watching The Male's Perspective. Please make sure that you tap in, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That way you guys are updated for all cool new content that's coming in. Like I was saying before, this one is for the men and women. I really want to get your opinion on this. I thought this was interesting. And I think I think the women are going to have something to say about this video that we're about to review because it gets heated. It gets pretty freaking heated. Now, the title of the video is actually saying it's titled, Women Says Only 36% of Men Deserve Submission. Now, this has like over 4,700 likes. It just got put up, so I can only imagine it's going to go viral. It's coming from the Lapeef Network here. I want to go into this, and I really want to get your opinion on this one, you guys. So tap in. Let me know what you think about this one. I'm not going to hold you up any longer than we need to. Let me just go ahead and line this up, and we're going to get it going.
Okay, I own businesses. I have goals and dreams that I'm trying to achieve, right? And so I have a 10-year plan, right? And if I'm, 7 years into this plan and I got 3 years left and I can see literally the light at the end of the tunnel and I have a couple things to accomplish with this goal that I'm trying to achieve and I'm traveling the world and my business is growing, right? Is there room for me to say, hey, you're not making as much at your job as you could if I brought you into my business as, an executive?
No.
Like,
off top, no, I'm not being brought in as an executive. I'm sorry, you guys, for cutting this off already, but hell no.
Oh God, Lionel, you have been hurt. You have been hurt by somebody. That much is clear. Who hurt you? Who hurt you? Who hurt you? Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
And the reason why, and I don't know about women from overseas, and I'll make this quick, you guys, but for whatever reason, for women that are in the States, when they gain power over the man, when I say like power, I mean like a power dynamic shift, like a power struggle. I'm not saying like you're telling me what to do, but what I am saying is when there's a power dynamic switch, men don't really power trip. But when women tend to have more power than the man, they get disgusted with men. It's just in their nature. Now, are there exceptions to the rule? Absolutely. There's exceptions to the rules. But the majority of women, when they tend to have more power of the man, meaning they're making more money, or there's a power dynamic where she may have a house or something like that and you're living in it. She's always going to use that card, versus the majority of men, we don't do that because we're naturally here to serve.
Did you say, nigga?
We're naturally supposed to be in charge, so we don't power trip over that, over things like that much. So in my opinion, I would say no, hell no. Don't put yourself in a situation like that, unless you know this woman really well. boy, even then. But let's keep going though.
There is that, like, how does that even taste to you? Because it's like, my thing is, as a woman who is very autonomous and like I have goals and I have a child, I have things that I'm going to do, and like I also want a man who is going to be there, but I want that man to have his dream and his life and his goals and his things, and I want us to be able to do that. But I also do not want to sacrifice who I am and my dream.
That's all, folks.
Why y'all keep
Somebody
putting careers
else's
over your?
I'll say this too, and this is coming from my grandmother on my dad's side. This is coming from my grandmother on my dad's side. She would always tell me, "Poopy, make sure you got your own stuff. Make sure you got your own place. Don't ever depend on no woman."
My nigga.
She'd also say that to my female cousins too, but she would always emphasize it for the men. Don't put yourself in a position where you got to depend on no woman, boy. It's not gonna be good. Let's keep going.
Man, though.
Because we live in a society where only 36% of men are full providers anyways.
Oh,
And at
here we
that
go.
point, if
So we're
I'm
supposed to
making-
submit to a man that needs our money.
if my and it's
Stop
it's
cheering
usually
that
on-
man. That's what I'm saying. The example.
You
is
saying submission
hell.
it comes with a price?
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
That's what you say?
No, that's your line of thinking, actually, Darwin, because you've always said women will submit to a provider, women will submit to a protector, but that's only 36% of men. So you don't speak for the
That's
majority.
not
You're
my
speaking
thinking.
for that 36.
You're
But that other
completely-
like 70 something percent of men, how you're gonna tell me where we're gonna move to? If that woman just said she has a 10-year plan, she's almost at the end of it, she has all the dreams and goals figured out, and 9 times out of 10 the man that she's with is asking her to go 50-50, you can't tell us where to move to, because if I don't make as much money as I do here, we're not going anywhere, because 50% of our bills depend on me.
I'm fine.
So what are you talking about?
You told that
Ooh,
man.
you go
he wasn't
girl.
married.
There's some men that don't know how to lead.
Hold
And
on,
I
y'all.
think that
Hold on, hold on.
submission-
And we just said that's the
Hold on.
majority.
Don't
Hold
be
on,
with
y'all.
him then.
Hold on, y'all. Let's get Naomi in there. Let's get Bo in there. Go ahead now.
All right, so in this particular example that Darwin gave of submission, if he's saying sell your shares and let's jump on this, she shouldn't be sitting here saying, well, I worked so hard to build my life, to take care of myself, and I'm going to be selfish so that I can make sure that I have something to fall on. Marrying a man and trusting him means that you're also going to follow him.
He ain't lying.
Because a lot of these examples,
So I have to stop on this part here, and for the ladies, you might actually enjoy this part. I think this particular instinct, this is the man's fault. I do, because the man should have been able to vet this woman well enough to know if she was going to be able to get on his program. I've been in situations like this before. Okay. If you are not vetting a woman and you're not understanding or trying to see if a woman is truly going to be able to get on your program, then, and you're just, kind of playing around and are just doing what you do or just being in a situationship, hey, then you guys need to make that clear to each other. Because I know too many times, a lot of people, like I said, including myself, we get into situationships, and those situationships put us in other situations where we're like, okay, well, I'm in a relationship now and we're supposed to be making this work. And, I'm going to stick with this person. There's nothing particularly bad about this person, but we haven't did the vetting, the proper vetting. We haven't asked the questions. We haven't had the conversations. We just haven't done these things.
Are we negotiating?
I believe we are.
Parlay. Parlay.
And this is particularly the man's fault, I feel. Because if he didn't want to be put in this situation, because this is going to inevitably happen. If you're a man who wants to be able to lead, this is inevitably going to happen in a, free feminist society that we are in today in America. There's no way around it, you guys. If you're dealing with a woman like this, it's just gonna happen. So you have to have these conversations in advance, way in advance, before you even get into a relationship. Because if you don't, this is your fate.
It's funny because it's true.
That we listen to and hear, as far as like women, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. It's self-sufficiency. I understand. Listen, I understand completely. I am a mom. I also own 2 businesses. I also have 2 jobs. Okay, I get money. You need money to make this world work. I also govern and hold 2 different nonprofits. I get it. But if my husband says, hey, I need you to do this so that our family can have foundation, then I'm going to follow what he says, because my husband, I'm trusting, is to put a plan in the foundation for our family. And what I'm doing is literally just for myself. It is literally the mindset. That is what I'm hearing. And I hear what you're saying about the title. I'm not worried about a title in a company that I own. If I got to be a cleaner, I'm gonna be a cleaner. Because the title of reception, I'm gonna be a partner.
Woo!
And boom goes the dynamite.
If I got to be a cleaner, I'm gonna be a cleaner. Look, a title in my company has no bearing on the way I feel or my effect. I love the way she speaks in regards to her husband too, because I'll give you an example, like with my wife. Okay. Being submissive to your husband, I'll say this first. Being submissive to your husband doesn't mean that you are going to be, just a carpet that he's going to run over all the time. That is not what men are saying. That is not what men want. That is not even remotely what men do. And look, I understand there's a small minority of men who are like this. And this is on those women to vet those men. But generally speaking, the majority of men are not feeling like this. They're not trying to take control over you. If my wife has concern in regards to something that I'm asking her to do, I'm going to tell her. I'm going to break it down to her. Now, ultimately, if we can't come to an understanding and there's a head where somebody needs to make a decision, then I'm expecting her to trust my decision and let me actually move accordingly. Now, with that being said, does that rarely happen? No, it does not rarely happen. It doesn't happen at all, because I'm going to make sure that the decisions that I'm making is not just for myself, but it's for my family, any future kids that we may have. It's also in her best interest too. So if we're aligned and this woman isn't just thinking about herself, we're not going to have too many issues. Yes, there may be misunderstandings, but as far as like serious issues, I think that's crazy for you to be complaining and arguing and bickering about something like this. Because if you are, to me, in my opinion, the way I roll, you guys, it just seems selfish to me. And that's just my opinion. Because I'm not going to put my wife in a position, you guys, where she feels like the decision that I'm making is not benefiting her. That's the way I look at it.
It's giving controlling. You.
If she's like, no, I'm not going to do this, then there's either one of two things that are happening. Either one, she feels like it's not benefiting her, or two, she feels like the decision that I'm making is going to put her in danger. And I would understand if she felt that way, if I was doing that. But 9 times out of 10, ladies, men are not doing that. They're not. But I really think just what I've experienced in the past, I think it's just more so that a lot of women have been raised to be self-sufficient instead of like interdependent.
How many times I gotta tell you I'm broke? Y'all can kiss my ass.
And because a lot of women were raised to be self-sufficient and not interdependent, it's hard giving away that power to a man, even when you feel that you have a good man. I'm gonna get off my soapbox, you guys. You know, I get real passionate and emotional about this shit, but I'm gonna let them keep talking. Let's keep going. This is Lapeef Network. Let me know what you guys think on this, by the way, for real, yo. We gonna keep going now.
Here, where I'm still going to be working underneath somebody, I'm still going to be getting money from them, but it doesn't, if we're more concerned with the title of what we own, then we're going to be more concerned about what people think in the world. And that's not focusing on the foundation of our family. It's not even focusing on the foundation of the trust of the man that I chose to marry. It doesn't, right now, I hear what you guys are saying, but it doesn't make any sense to sit here and worry about what I'm doing for myself and what I built myself for self-sufficiency and the community and how I move within myself.
Right.
To
At
sit
that
here
point,
and put
why'd you even get married if that was the case?
You want to go to jail, you want to go home?
The family foundation that my husband is creating. That doesn't make any sense to me, because if this is how submission works, in my perception, if I chose this man to lead my family, that means I gotta follow this man to lead my family. It also means that this man knows me. He knows my passions.
Exactly.
He knows my desires. A good leader is able to, dictate, and a good leader is able to outsource things. And if that means for a little bit, I'm gonna have to be a cleaner in the kitchen, well then that's it. I'm gonna be a cook, say less. You want me to answer phone calls? Say less. I got you, babe, because this is what I'm gonna do.
Message. And let me just say this too, ladies. And men out there too. Ladies and men. We gonna give it to all. Like, we gonna give it to both the genders. Ladies and men. Let me just say this. The plan is going to have a foundation, but it's not going to be smooth. Any plan that is laid out, even to a perfection, and you see this in companies, you see this in government entities, any plan that you lay out is not going to go according to plan.
Give me a freaking bone here.
There's always something that is going to happen. It is never going to be perfect. It is almost never going to be perfect. And if it is, you have a little bit of divinity over you or watching you. So make sure, ladies, that you give that man that grace. I'm not saying things are falling to hell. He's losing thousands of dollars every month. He's not on track with his plan at all. I'm not saying that, ladies. If that's the case, yes, we may need to make some life-altering changes. Absolutely. We may need to have a real heart-to-heart. But I'm saying if there's little hiccups, allow him to have some grace.
is a good man, Savannah.
If you're concerned, talk to him. Because a lot of times ladies will just, kind of like grit it under their teeth and be like, I don't think this is going to work. And they hold it in so long to where it finally comes out and it's just this spew of wrath and hate. That's why you ain't doing this the way you're supposed to, and you ain't no shit. It just goes to a whole nother place. So just ladies, find your center and talk to the man, and just remember to give him grace, because he's working for the both of you. I promise you.
I'm tired of your presence. Dismissed.
Nice meeting you guys.
I promise you. But with that being said, let's keep going. Let's keep rolling with it.
Because it's only going to be temporary. Why are we so worried about a temporary title change in the foundation of the longevity of our family over that? Or like we're sitting here more worried about how I'm feeling about a title change over the foundation of the family that my husband is trying to create.
I would say that the title matters
Oh,
because why would a stranger deserve that title more than you?
That's the thing.
Because if it's our business, nobody's going to care about our business more than me and
That's the
him.
thing. So that's the thing. On our business and our paper, it's going to have my name and his. Whoever the receptionist is in time, listen, we're gonna outsource someone else, because you know what? Me and my husband, we're gonna disappear into our office. We're gonna need that. And when we get there, that's when we'll make that move. But if he tells me I gotta answer a phone, then answer a phone.
Bless that bitch.
Why am I gonna be so worried about a temporary?
Holla, we want prenup. We want prenup. Yeah.
About what somebody else says. I'm not worried about what they're doing. They're not feeding my family. He's feeding my family. He's the one I'm following. He's the one I'm married. He's the one I'm trusting to lead. So if he tells me I need to answer a phone, then I should answer a phone. Especially if one, we're already married and he knows this. If he knows this and he knows what I love and he knows how I'm moving and he knows the income that I'm making, that means so this is a good thing about submission. Now, if he says, sell your shares so we can do this. In the example that Darwin gave, he said, okay, he gave the flat.
I just want to say this. If my wife has a substantial amount of shares, and let's just go ahead and say it's, let's just go ahead and say it's $1 million or something like that. And I tell her, babe, sell your shares. I'm going to make damn sure that I can either repay her for what she's lost or guarantee that she's going to double what it is that we are risking. Because as a man, at least for me, to put my wife in a situation where she is trusting me with something that she built before me, I'm going to make sure that it's pretty damn secure. Because I don't want to lose her trust. I'll just say that. And also, really quick, I'll try to make this as quick as possible, because they talked about it in the beginning and I meant to speak on it, but I freaking forgot it. So the other thing they were saying, and this is to the title as well, how the woman was saying that 36% of men only deserve submission from a woman. And I'm pretty sure she got that off of some statistic, but I don't think they're taking into account how the market feels about that. And that is the dating market that I'm talking about, you guys. And the reason why I say I don't think she's taking into account how the dating market feels is solely because women, you are the ones that are selling, essentially. And I'm not talking sexually, but I'm just saying that you're selling, because women are always saying that they're looking for a provider. So if a woman is looking for a provider, then until that man would actually have to be providing for that woman, which would mean that he is the one that is going to be making the decision. And if he's making the decision, then that means he's the buyer. And there's only one real question that I really have to ask women in particularly. If men are the buyers and we're the ones that hand out relationships and marriages, are we going to buy what you're selling?
Don't worry, I'll wait.
And if we are not, and the price is too high, why wouldn't a man just go somewhere else? Why wouldn't he? And to those women out there, let's just say he doesn't even choose to go to another country. Let's just say he decides to stay in the States, right? She's saying that 36% of men are the only ones who deserve submission, right? Okay, because she says 36% of men can only provide. Okay, so what if you have a man and a woman, let's say he's making $65,000, right? And then the woman is making $40,000. And that woman who is under him is actually completely okay with him having a lot of the decision-making ability in the relationship. What if she's okay with that? That would substantially raise that 35%.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
So, ladies, and I don't say this to harp on it or to say, oh, you better get choosing or you better pick wisely. I don't do that to say this. I'm saying this for one real simple reason, which is if a man can choose from a woman who's going to be less inclined to want to leave, and she's going to be okay with the man making 50 or 60,000 because it's above what she's making, and then the man also has the option of going overseas. Like, where does that leave you?
He don't love me no more. He don't love me no more.
And this is just my opinion. I think what is eventually going to end up happening, because people in America are just stubborn, and I'm not going to put this on just women, because I see this, you guys, and this is not just women. This is men and women alike, and it's in the States. People don't realize their situation until it is too late.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
It's like standing in quicksand, not realizing that you are sinking. And it is sad to me. It is really sad, because the options that a lot of women think they have, they really don't.
He ain't lying.
Those options are usually sexual options. And men will not tell you that he is using you as a sexual option, because the game is to get the sex. And if you are honest with the woman, he is probably not going to get what he wants, which makes the woman believe that she has more options than she really does.
Tell you how this is gonna work. You ain't gonna tell me shit. Listen, suck my. Shut up. Listen to me. Suck my. You man. Listen, suck my. You will be here in the court on Monday. You'll be here sucking my. Well, listen to me now. Go yourself.
So look here, like, I'm not going to beat this topic over the head with a stick. I'm just not. But we all are going to have to deal with the consequences of our actions. And in the end, we're going to see who was right and who was wrong, because there's a female-sided opinion and there's a male-sided opinion. And we are all getting of age where we're not going to have to wait too long to see what happens. So I guess we'll see, but let's keep going.
plan to go along with it. He didn't say, hey, he didn't pop up and be like, hey, share your shares so I can take it. We can do this. No, he put a plan. I need you to sell your shares so that we can add into this, so that we can get equipment. You're going to have to do this. He came with a plan and a purpose. So it wasn't just like, I'm giving up something that I love. As a matter of fact, he took time to give clarity and explanation. Now, submission means I can ask him, okay, so how long am I going to have to answer phones? Or how long before we order a cleaner? Because you know what? I know, I don't like to scrub toilets. Okay, that means that's where submission comes into play. Because I can ask those questions.
Lady.
Submission is not just control. And if we keep putting this stigma about how you're just supposed to follow, yes, you're supposed to follow, but you can ask clarifying questions.
Facts. Yeah.
How long, babe? You know what? I love you. I get it. I'm on board. I'm gonna do it. But how long do I have to do this? How long before we do this? And because I'm an attorney, when can you place me in a position to where I can also adhere? Because if I'm an attorney of a law firm that does family, and he needs an attorney for a business attorney, he's not going to choose me. That all of that comes into play as well. I get it. Like, we got passions, but ultimately, if I focus my own selfish desires over the foundation that he's setting for our family, then I'm literally just saying, hey, you know what? I just want you to sit there and pay bills. Help me do that. And then, you know what? If you got to pick somebody else, then go choose someone else.
Now, girl, I'm not trying to get between your thighs. I just want some throat and it's goodbye.
I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong. I agree. But that was what I pointed out to Darwin was, you and Darwin acts like the 36% is the majority. Because like you said, a plan, right? That's what, in my generation, we call a man with motion. A man with motion, even if he ain't got a dime to his name, I would follow him because he's going to come with a plan and he's always got some business about himself, right? But that's the 36%. That is the trustworthy percent. That's the 36 that deserves submission.
We're talking about the majority. So let's be honest.
36% of men's not enough for us to go around.
Hold on. So
36%. That percentage is killing me, you guys. It really is, because it's not no fucking 36%, bro. It's just not. There are men. So what she's talking about, if you guys didn't hear the very beginning of the conversation, is she wants a man to be able to take care of all the bills. And yes, if she's looking at some type of statistic, I'm sure that's true. Only 36% of men can take care of all the bills. Okay. But with that being said, there are women out there that are reasonable right here in the United States that are saying, if my man makes just a little bit more than me and he's willing to take care of the majority of the bills, and even though he needs me to take care of just a few of the bills, I'm still going to get on board of what he's saying. So that 36% jumps substantially when you add those other men in the play. You know, so again, this is just, it is the reality that a lot of people don't see yet. It's just the reality of it. But let's keep rolling though.
Let's be honest about this. If you're saying only 36% of men who are full providers are worthy of submission, then what about the other men who actually just the other men the other majority of men who are working that are a lot of people are in right now. There are a lot of people who are financially that are needing two incomes to live.
Yes.
So yes.
We gotta wait, let me finish, please. Now we gotta take a temporary break. Like, that means I'm not going to be able to get my nails done. We got to take a temporary sacrifice for a greater setup later. Then that's a conversation that we have. But it doesn't mean that it's all gone. Because I guarantee you, if we have children, he's already taking into account the income that's going to be needed to replace what I'm going to be walking away from. And I'm going to ask that question. So I make this much. And if this much is what we use for food, how are we going to cover that? How are we going to do that? Submission means I can ask those questions.
Don't lean too hard on the 36%, because you're saying that as if if it were for 30s, if the numbers were higher, then the women would submit. As if the only reason why women aren't doing it is because the man is it's a scarcity. As if women are 100% on the other side going to submit. Contingent upon the man being able to have a vision. Let's not act like there's a high number of women that will submit if a man have a vision. We just showcase. I'm just saying, but when you're using that number, it's insinuating that. We're just showcasing on this panel a number of women were disgruntled when I just showcased a man with a vision, and they still wasn't willing to submit. So don't try to rest on, they're not financially stable. They might not be financially stable, but they have a vision, and once they get it rolling, and we're gonna come and request you.
You've made it to the end of this video, which basically means that we're best friends now. And best friends subscribe to best friends channels. And they like their videos too. So, I mean, I don't make the rules. It is what it is. You got to take that up under the Best Friend Act, code -7223-002. Write a subscription and subscribe.